Welcome back to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. How y'all doing today? You know, I never asked that question. I'm going to start asking that question. Not only on my videos, but on my live streams. You know, are there any challenges that you're going through today? What's your biggest challenge that you're facing right now in 2025? Well, get moving towards solving it. Once you get started, you're halfway finished. Today is a special day for me, May 13th, 1998. I stopped drinking, drugging, everything. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about, you know, I was like a kid in a candy store when I first came over here to the Philippines, when I first started coming over here. And I made a lot of mistakes, and maybe by talking about my mistakes, I can help you avoid some of the mistakes I made. I've been around the world. You know, I was a member of the United States Navy, and then I did some traveling on my own. So I've been to Cancun, I've been to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Cartagena, Colombia. I've been through Europe, the Suez Canal, you name it. But no place opened my nose wider than the Philippines. No other place turned me upside down like this place. And the biggest mistake I made was messing with so many women. I thought, oh, you're taking advantage of these women. I was accused of taking advantage of women. No, I was being taken advantage of. But there was a 41-year-old woman, my first trip over here to the Philippines. I only met 2 women. I went online and met them. But the 41-year-old, we kind of hit it off, but she tried to kind of educate me on the culture over here, but I wasn't listening. The only thing I really heard was that the age gap was okay. I'm 45 at the time. She was trying to take me all around. You know, we were in Cebu, try all the foods, show me the, you know, tourist attractions and all this stuff, the beach and everything like that. But all I heard her say was, well, what are you doing dealing with an older woman like me? Why don't you deal with the younger women like all the other foreigners do? And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you're 45, you're a woman in her 20s. Well, that's all I heard after that. I went back home, got back on the dating site. And from then on until, you know, years later, 4 or 5 years later, you know, I was sowing my oats basically. You know, the dating sites were different then. I kind of talked about this a little bit on my live stream yesterday. I don't know if they were as hard, they were any easier, rather, or any harder than they are now. But I just know that you could go on there and meet quality women, I mean, like it was nothing. And I messed up a lot of good things over here. I met some outstanding women on these dating sites that could have, all of them would have made a wonderful wife. Okay, as a matter of fact, I did end up marrying one. But I messed up some good relationships simply because I was like a kid in a candy store. So I get on the dating site, I meet a woman, hey, meet me at Ayala, meet me at SM Mall, there it be. We get something to eat, maybe go see a few sites, and then it would end back up at the hotel. I'm not proud of that. I spent a lot of money doing that because that's the next thing that I did wrong. I spent a lot of money. I wasted a lot of money. Millions and millions of pesos over here with that type of just irresponsible behavior, irrational behavior. Everything looked like a deal. I told y'all yesterday I spent $7,000 in 2 months in 2010, and they calculated it, you know, with inflation. They're saying it's a little bit over 10,000, but I'm gonna say it's more. Okay, staying in 5-star hotels because a 5-star hotel over here is only $80 a night, a 4-star, whatever it was. Going to all the fancy places, staying right on the beach. Didn't know anything about Airbnb or any of the other, you know, 2- and 3-star hotels that would have offered me the same amenities as these so-called 4- and 5-star. I remember when Lapu-Lapu, believe it or not, used to be a tourist place just like Panglao Bahar or any of the other places when I came over here, 2009. And we stayed there for the weekend. I got a deal, what I thought was a deal, $100 a night. Well, we went up to the restaurant to eat, and I ordered a menu. They brought it 4,000 something pesos. And it was this little bitty, these little fancy plate type of food that they might come with the fire and blaze up like that. That's the type of money I was spending over here. So the reason for this video is to say, hey, you guys have a whole lot more resources than I did then. There was not all these channels. Despite what people say, they always try to put these vloggers down. Guys, they're basically giving you a front row seat of what's going on in the Philippines. You don't have to listen too much about what they're saying. Watch what they're doing. Okay, remember, a lot of these guys like myself, we're older. And you see, we're living our best lives over here. But give us credit. It's not all bad. But you got this, you got AI, you got Google, you got everything that you can kind of get more of an insight on what the Philippines is about. I just got on a plane and came over here. I really didn't know. I did no research at all. I think I was in a chat room. Now remember, this is 2009. That, was talking about the Philippines. And the guy on there, he gave me a couple of good bits of information I'll pass on to you. He said, well, you're going to go all the way over there, get on a dating site, meet somebody, kind of let them show you around and this and that. Okay, I would suggest that to you. He said, if you do end up meeting a nice, attractive young woman, don't flaunt it, he says. Don't push it into the face of the people. Be humble. Michael Beach Your Life said something that made a lot of sense, because I do it too sometimes. He said, when I'm with my girl, he said, I don't even look them eye to eye. I make no eye contact, with the people. Because even though it's accepted over here, it's basically tolerated. You can piss some people off with that, walking around like you really doing something. That's one thing I never did over here. I've always been humble. I knew that because of my past. Okay. Remember, today is May the 13th. And May 13th, 1998, I quit drinking, drugging, and all that. See, all I had to do is remember what it used to be like for me. That really keeps me humble. But I never had that problem. I want to pass that on to you. But messing with a lot of women, using that dating site is like more like a pimp, basically. Maybe like, this is where, even to the day, people meet women on dating sites, but it wasn't like it was then. There was a time, somewhere around early 2010 to maybe the end of 2010. Some weeks I would be with a different woman every single day, just because I could. But remember, every time you do that, you're starting over. You're spending more money. I broke some hearts over here. I had my heart broken over here. Thankfully, I've changed, man. Thankfully, I learned what life is really like over here. As much about the culture as I possibly can. I know my place here. So I don't make those same mistakes. A guy asked me yesterday, he said, hey, Cal, how do you keep from being, what did he say? You're around all of these attractive young women, what keeps you faithful? Well, I got a good woman. Okay, it's almost like I heard a woman say about me, and she was like, men, they're all the same, they just got a different face. And it's basically how I look at it today. Filipinos have a thick culture over here. When you meet a woman, remember I made a video, and maybe I need to make it again. When you meet a good woman over here, it's as good as it gets. You can't upgrade. You're basically going to go this way. You're not going to go this way. And remember, if you meet a good woman, It's hot as hell out here. But that's something I had to learn. See, now I know it's not going to be much better than Maryland. If there's going to be anybody better than Maryland, I'm just going to be going like this, starting over, spending another 5-6 million, okay, to get settled. When I make videos like this, I talk about my life because a lot of you guys can relate to me. When you come over here, man, your nose is going to be wide open because you're not getting the attention over there that you're going to get over here. I mean, these are young, attractive women, but in a way, we're being taken advantage of. They know we're lonely. They know that we aren't getting the attention over there. And they know exactly what to do. But if you can just avoid those two things, man, it's going to take you a long way. Stay off those dating sites, man. Find you a good woman over here, because a good woman is good as it gets. And be done with it. And wear dark sunglasses, because there's nothing wrong with looking. Okay, it's hot as hell out here, by the way. I got to go meet with a subscriber of mine today. They're getting ready to go to Sapaway Island. Everything's not a deal over here. Try your best not to waste money over here, because you're going to need it. With inflation and just the cost of living period over the years, it's more expensive now in the Philippines than it was in 2009. But it's still a whole lot cheaper than where you're from. Do your research. Sometimes those 2- and 3-star hotels are just as good as a 4- and 5-star for about half the price. Be humble when you come over here. They've seen it all before. You're not Christopher Columbus. You're not the first foreigner to ever come over here. Okay? They've seen people like you before. Act like it. So when you fortunate enough to meet somebody nice over here, don't flaunt it. Act like you've been with beautiful women before. Act like you've been with attractive women before. Okay? So thank y'all so much for stopping by. This just came across my mind today, you know. I was like a kid in the candy store when I came over here. I made a lot of mistakes, man. Mistakes you don't have to make. But you're grown men. You know, y'all try to discredit us as vloggers. You can't do it. We're over here living it. No matter what people tell you about vloggers, they're over here, we're living it. Now, if somebody's somewhere else talking about the Philippines and all that, yeah, that's another thing. But when you got people over here actually doing it, look at what they're doing. It's not so much about what they're saying. Everybody's got an opinion, ladies and gentlemen. It's not wrong. That's their perspective. Because I give you mine. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Okay, but with all these vloggers, other vloggers out there, you trying to discredit us, man. Look, one day you're going to need us. When them trolls start beating on your door, you're going to need the support of the YouTube community. Stop making all them videos, man. You don't need views that bad. These vloggers over here ain't a smidgen as bad as y'all making us out to be, man. We give a lot of good information, man. We help a whole lot of people. We do a lot of good over here. So if you're in the Philippines, if you're in America, wherever you are, fan in your heart to help somebody. Not a day goes by, not one single day goes by I don't help somebody over here. I'm not going to live my best life over here and people around me are struggling. I can't help everybody, but that doesn't stop me from doing what I can. Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. We help other people, we help ourselves. Take care. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. I'll see you next time. Don't do anything stupid. Don't come over here acting like you run this place. Filipinos run this place. They don't need you to police the place. Okay, they don't need you to police YouTube. Be humble. Act like you've been somewhere before. Slow down. Take your time. A good woman over here is as good as it gets. So if you want to go like this and fool with all those different women, all the different relationships, just because we've done it, then go ahead and do it. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Money that you're going to need on down the line over here. Because times have changed over here. It's a little bit more expensive than it was when I came over here in 2009.